Upon arriving at Dragonstone with her fleet, army, and dragons, Daenerys Targaryen held a meeting with her Hand of the Queen Tyrion Lannister and Varys the Spider to discuss their strategy. While their forces are more than sufficient to take King's Landing from Queen Cersei by force, Tyrion advises caution, wanting to minimize innocent casualties by winning the support of the noblemen of the continent and isolating the Lannisters. However, before they can move forward with any plans, Daenerys questions Varys, unsure of his loyalties. She recalls that he once served her father, the Mad King, only to then serve King Robert for a while before moving on to support her brother Viserys Targaryen. Despite Tyrion's attempts to speak on his behalf, Daenerys seems unwilling to trust the former Master of Whisperers until he makes an impassioned plea, stating that his loyalties have always been to the common people who suffer under despots and prosper under just rule. He serves as best he can, but will not reward incompetence with blind loyalty. Daenerys is convinced to give him a chance, and has him swear an oath, then warning that should he ever betray her, she will burn him alive. Afterwards, the Mother of Dragons meets with the Red Priestess Melisandre, welcoming her to Dragonstone, as they are on good terms with the faith of R'hllor, who helped her establish peace in Meereen. Melisandre explains that the long night is coming, and that only the prince who was promised can save them. Missandei explains that the translation of the word from the prophecy does not have gender, so it might mean prince or princess. Daenerys likes the possibility of being the savior of which the Red Priestess is referring, but Melisandre states that understanding prophecy is difficult, and that she is but one of the figures that has an important role to play in the coming war, with the other being Jon Snow, former Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, now King in the North, who has united the Wildlings and Northmen to fight against their common enemy. Tyrion lends his voice to speak on behalf of Jon Snow, convincing Daenerys to send him a letter, inviting him to Dragonstone, but she adds that he must bend the knee. A meeting is then held with the allies of House Targaryen, gathering Ellaria Sand of Dorne, Olenna Tyrell of the Reach, Yara and Theon Greyjoy, representing a faction of the Iron Islands, and her advisors Tyrion and Varys. While Yara and Ellaria suggest attacking the capital immediately, Daenerys and Tyrion explain that they want to be mindful of innocent casualties. They also need to win over the lords of Westeros, and sending a foreign army to capture the capital will not help in that regard, and so they present a plan to send Yara and her fleet with Ellaria to Dorne, where they will gather their warriors and bring them to join the soldiers of the Reach in surrounding the capital on all sides, cutting them off from fresh supplies. Meanwhile, the Unsullied and Dothraki will sail to the Westerlands and capture Casterly Rock. Although they all agree to the plan, afterwards Olenna advises Daenerys to be wary of listening to clever men like Tyrion, and that she should act more like the dragon she was born to be. As part of the plan, Grey Worm must travel with the Unsullied to the Westerlands, and so Missandei visits him to say goodbye, and they spend the night together. Traveling south along the Narrow Sea, the Ironborn under Yara Greyjoy, escorting Ellaria Sand and the Sand Snakes to Dorne, are attacked during a stormy night by Euron Greyjoy and his own Ironborn fleet. This leads to a great battle, which sees King Euron victorious, killing Obara and Nymeria Sand, while capturing Tyene, Ellaria, and Yara. Theon, seeing their forces defeated and his sister taken by Euron, jumps off the ship to escape. In King's Landing, Queen Cersei Lannister gathers the nobles of the realm still available to her, including men of the Reach who also owe their loyalty to Olenna Tyrell. Cersei reminds them of the horrors of the Mad King and how his daughter crucified noblemen in the east and now came west with an army of Dothraki savages and unsullied eunuchs. She appeals to their distaste for foreign invaders and paints Olenna as a traitor working against her own people. However, Randall Tarly, Lord of Horn Hill, expresses the concern of many when he asks how they plan to deal with the dragons, even referring back to Aegon the Conqueror, who also had 3 dragons when he conquered Westeros 300 years earlier. After the gathering, Jaime talks to Lord Tarly in private, offering him the position of ranking general in the army. As the only man to ever defeat Robert Baratheon on the field of battle, Lord Tarly had a great reputation as a warrior and would serve them well, but he is hesitant to join because of his oath to House Tyrell. Jaime further reminds him that the threat they face is one of foreign occupation and offers him the position of Warden of the South once the war is won. While Cersei and Jaime work to forge new political alliances, Qyburn works on a way to defeat the dragons, presenting the queen with a large ballista, demonstrating its firepower by destroying the skull of Balerion the Blackdread, which is kept in the lower levels of the Red Keep. In the citadel of Old Town, the Archmaester examining Ser Jorah Mormont informs him that he is too far gone to be helped, telling him that he has about 6 more months of sanity, while the actual affliction would not kill him for another 10 or 20 years. Normally, they would immediately ship him off to live with the Stone Men of Valyria, but because Jorah is an anointed knight, he is given an extra day in the citadel and the option of committing suicide. Samwell Tarly, who is assisting in the examination, then learns of Jorah's identity as a Mormont. Given Sam's loyalty to the man's father, Lord Commander Jeor Mormont, Sam decides to break the rules and try a forbidden and experimental treatment on Jorah that has a chance to save his life. Unfortunately, it is a painful procedure involving the removal of infected skin and the application of a special ointment. In the Riverlands, Arya continues her journey south to King's Landing, but runs into her old friend Hot Pie at the Inn of the Crossroads, who informs her that Jon Snow has defeated the Boltons at Winterfell and is now king in the north. Shocked by the news, she turns back from her mission and starts to head north. Alone in the wilderness, Arya is later surrounded by a pack of wolves, then seeing her old direwolf Nymeria approach as their leader. Arya tries to bond with the animal as she had when they were younger, but the direwolf ultimately chooses not to rejoin her and leaves with her pack. In Winterfell, King Jon Snow receives a letter from Tyrion Lannister on behalf of Daenerys, asking him to bend the knee at Dragonstone. In addition, Jon gets a letter from Samwell explaining that a mountain of dragon glass can be found on the very same island. Given their dire need for allies and dragon glass, Jon decides to accept the invitation south in order to win the aid of Daenerys, so her dragons, army, and dragon glass might serve them in the war against the White Walkers. Sansa objects, reminding him of how the Mad King once invited their grandfather south before roasting him alive. Many of the lords and ladies make similar objections, but Jon's decision is made, and so he leaves his sister Sansa in charge of the kingdom while he journeys to meet the queen. Before leaving, Jon goes to the crypts beneath Winterfell and is approached by Peter Baelish, who tries to assure Jon of his noble intentions and love for Catelyn and Sansa. But Jon does not believe a word and attacks the man, slamming him against the wall and warning him not to touch his sister. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like Fabian Keen Eye Flowers, Jory Redblade, and Midori Senin. If you'd like to help the channel with a monthly donation, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to see more.